about the sweating dash of 7 hours. The sweating dust. I wish I would have wrote this a little neater. It was a beautiful line. You'll have to take my word for it. It's a beautiful line. About the importance of place. And that the importance of place and the importance of home seem to come up again and again. As with Kathleen Di Nicola, Christian Picciolini's story of Memoirs of an American Skinhead, about the importance of finding home and finding family and a sense of purpose, and how he came to find that in the skinhead group, and again the returns to family, a more important and primary source in that came up with the beginning of his own family. And with Adam came along, read a few poems, a couple of poems about the trophy wife, the false exterior, which is a gorgeous poem, and then and fun as well, which probably would have he would have done all right at the Green Mill with that one too. I was thinking about it. That's I'm certain. I'm familiar with the Green Mill. That's how I started doing poetry, and that would have gone over well there. And I think it really exemplified, and really from from Dominic's introduction of him too, and about the sort of unique destination of poetry from a legal standpoint, but also speaks to the desire and the need, the demand really, for all of us to express ourselves artistically. And Mary Gibson read from her memoir, and then C.J. Martello's advice in writing, which I think is this has been helpful for me because I'm able to take notes and I learn a little more from the speakers and the presenters. So thank you, Don.
Okay, let's take some questions.
Oh, some questions.
Questions that you might have for Billy about his work in teaching writing and in writing itself?
Yeah, maybe I could just take a couple minutes to talk a little bit about the magazine. I started right when my first book came out, The Logic of a Rose. I also started a student-run international literary magazine for high school writers called Polyphony HS. There were a couple other literary magazines called Polyphony, and so we added the HS just to distinguish them and not to get into any legal trouble with them. That first year, we did everything by post, and we had submissions, 150 submissions from high school kids in 21 states. And last year, which was our 12th volume, came out, and we had submissions, 1,400 submissions from kids in 26 countries. This year, we've got kids from 23 countries, and no matter who sends us poetry, fiction, or creative nonfiction, they get feedback from 3 of their peers around the world. So we've got 212 editors this year. We lose, theoretically, a quarter of them to graduation each year. But we've got editors in Romania, in Canada, a couple in South Africa, Luxembourg, United Kingdom. So we have these just great editors from around the world. As soon as I get something that goes to a first reader, then it comes back to me, they write comments on it, and then I send it to a second reader, it comes back to me, I send it to a genre editor. And each of them provides feedback to the previous editor also. And so there's this constant editorial development as we go along. It's just an amazing magazine. It's polyphonyhs.com if you're interested in looking at it. Now,
Billy, I know you've published with the established publishers, etc., but many of us have self-published just about. What do you have? What observations do you have about self-publishing? Yeah. And
so my closest experience I have with it is from Anne Calcagno, who self-published a book that she had been wanting to publish for a long time, and it actually did. She's happier with the results of that than she is with sort of conventional publishing houses that she's had. It's also cost her a lot of work, a lot of marketing. It was a lot of work, but it's sold more. She's really happy with it, but I'm not sure she would do it again. It's just a lot of work. I think though that regardless of what you're publishing and who you publish through, nobody is spending the kind of money and putting the kind of muscle behind it unless you're, Jonathan Grisham or whatever, who's not, or Patterson, who's not. I have a friend of a friend who was hired by James Patterson to write his book. So he comes out with like 9 books a year, and someone else who's writing them, and he meets with them after every 60,000 words or whatever and tells them what direction to take it in, pays them, and then he gets the royalties for all. So they get, what, 200,000 or something for books that he knows he's going to sell 1 million copies of. And they don't get any royalties. And so he's just, that's what the model has become for him. And you're on a book tour now. I never quite understood the economics of book tours, because a book comes out and you go to a place and there's 6 people there, and 3 of them are people that you know sometimes, right? It's not, we're not going to full houses as Stephen King might be reading in front of full houses, but we're not doing it. And so the onus is on the writer to do the marketing, whether you're publishing conventionally or you're publishing on your own, right? So for me, I want to move people with my writing, and I want to get my book into people's hands. And you could do those 2 things with a self-published book, right? There's going to be a segment of society that's they'll be less interested in your book because it's self-published, right? I mean,
That's so polite.
yeah, but there will be people who are just less interested in it because of that, and they think, well, there's a kind of vetting process that goes on if a publishing house picks you up, so someone else is legitimizing and validating your work. But I mean, I want my book to get in a bunch of hands, and if I could get a book into 5,000 people's hands instead of 1,700 or whatever, that's like, I'm okay with that, right? So I don't know if I would do it just because it requires another level of work and just getting out there and selling them out of your car and that sort of thing. And I'm a little less interested in doing that kind of work now. But I'm still, if I get a book published now, I'm still selling it out of my car. I don't even have a car anymore, so it's just out in the backpack now.
Well,
Yes.
How important is it to keep diaries? I have 4.
I've never kept a diary. I've never kept a journal. I've never also, I rarely go outside of the house without a notebook and a pencil, though. I should show you my pencils. I've got amazing pencils. I had a sabbatical one year. I went on sabbatical for a year. People, they paid me not to work at the school, which was really good, but I also was thinking they're paying me not to work. The guy who had a sabbatical before...
Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah, the guy who had a sabbatical before me. The guy who had a sabbatical before me, his name was Ken Bowen, and he built a boat. He built a, I can almost not say it without saying he built a fucking boat, because that's what he did. And I made the mistake of going to see the boat 3 weeks before my sabbatical began. And I was profoundly depressed because I knew that no matter what, I was not going to be able to build a boat. So all I had was writing. That was what I was going to do, and I couldn't take it out on the lake or whatever. So I bought these really nice pencils, and they're Palomino Blackwing 602, and it's actually a remake of the Faber Castile or something like that.
Faber
John
Castile.
Steinbeck. Pardon me?
Faber Castile.
Faber Castile. It's a gorgeous pencil. John Steinbeck wrote all of these. That's what he wrote with.
Why?
And
what does it do that another pencil doesn't do?
Well, it's just it writes for you. I just set them down. You have to sharpen them, and then you should set them down.
You have
Harry Potter.
You have to sharpen them. But what I wanted to, it was gimmicky for me, but it was also a reminder to me that this was a serious endeavor, and I needed to do something that was going to be, that I was going to be proud of, and that was going to be a kind of boat. Not quite one that you could take out on the lake, but something, I just couldn't waste my time. That opportunity is never going to come by again. And so your question was, do I keep a diary? It didn't even come near answering that question, but I don't go anywhere without one of these pencils and with some kind of a notebook, because people are constantly saying things that are becoming, that could become stories for me, right? That snowblower I was pushing one day, there was a ridiculous amount of snow there. This was a year before I had the snowblower, and I was shoveling, and this line came to me in the voice. I said, "That's the year my father blamed the blizzard on me," and a story came from that. Little instances of my childhood that I couldn't write; they're too emotionally charged. I would write them in second person. You know, when I started writing in second person, all of these stories that were too difficult for me to write because of their emotional sort of freight came out like crazy. And I wrote 80 pages in a matter of a couple days. All these stories that were way too difficult. So I'm constantly trying to figure out new ways to tell a story. One of my favorite hauntings, I was watching my son play baseball, and the pitcher on Liberty'sville team, we were playing against Nazareth Academy, which is where my son went. The pitcher on Libertyville, he threw the ball to first base because there was a runner on first who was threatening to steal. So he threw the ball to first base to keep him honest. Ball came back to him. The guy threatened to steal again. He threw again. The guy stayed on first base now because he knows the pitcher's onto him. He's not going to threaten to steal. Well, the pitcher threw it a third time and a fourth time. Never left the base. Fifth time, he threw the ball 9 times, and everybody in the dugout was going, "What the fuck is going on here with this? He's throwing the ball, there's no runner on the base." The next thing we know, the pitcher's got his hands on his knees and he's weeping. He's got Tourette's syndrome, we find out. And he can't stop throwing the ball to first base. And like, what do you do? Like, what do you do with that story? I mean, it took me 3 years to figure out just the point of view. Whose point of view was I going to use? His father's, who was walking around with a camera and is angry at the whole world because they're swearing about what the heck this guy is throwing first base for? You know, do I write it from my viewpoint, the father of one of the players? Do I write it from the viewpoint of the coach? So these are things that you can't look around for a pencil on a piece of paper when you gotta have it with you. And you know, that's a very long response. The guy who asked that ended up leaving. Yes.
You know, you were talking about publishers, and I've got to say, I've published both ways. My first book, self-published, the second one, traditional publisher. Believe me, there is no difference between them. Don't worry about it. Publish your book if you want to publish the way you want to publish it. Let me tell you that they each caused the same heartache for me that I had with the self-publishing as with a traditional publisher. They all want to tell you what to do. Don't let them tell you what to do. The book is yours. It's your ideas. It's your mind that created it. Don't let them change it. They hated my covers. We hate these covers. We're going to change them. No, you're not. I'll sue you if you change my cover. That's what you have to see. I use that phrase a lot. I'll sue you if you change my cover. I design my own covers. They're here in my head. Your books are here in your head. Don't let anyone tell you how to write your book. You write it the way you want to write it, because I'll tell you there's somebody out there that wants to read your book. I go to book clubs. I go to libraries. I go to senior citizen homes. I go everywhere, any charity organizations, and give my talks about my book. This is what you have to do. People will listen to you. They read stuff. They want to hear about you. And she's nodding yes, because she knows. You're a veteran writer right here.
No, I'm in the thick of it.
You're in the thick of it now.
Okay, don't try and steal my books. No, this is in Italian, and we got it published in Italy, and got a lot of mileage out of it. They got a couple of trips to Italy and presentations, etc. So that's another thing. If your book is interesting, successful, and you want to translate it into Italian, well, that's a possibility. And I know some people who might host a presentation of your book in Italy. I can't guarantee any sales, but you have an excuse to go to Italy. Okay, now for the first time anywhere, lords, ladies, gentlemen, signori, signore, welcome, benvenuti. Welcome to the world premiere of IHamlet, a reimagining of Hamlet in the first Elizabethan digital age. What's that? You weren't aware of a digital age in the time of Shakespeare? Well, as vivid as our imaginations are, we simply could not place the bard in the 21st century, a time that is just too unsuited for a light-hearted work such as this. To take you to Elsinore, we have one esteemed professional, C.J. Martello, starring as IHamlet and I Polonius, and two untrained but enthusiastic thespians, Terry Quilicio as I Claudius, a guard, and I Horatio, I Laertes, and I Steve, Prince of Jobs. And our own Anna Weiss as I Gertrude. She's also Genius, a recycler, and I Ophelia, and she plays Bill, Earl of Gates, and Siri. There are scholars who believe that Shakespeare did not write all the plays attributed to him, but one thing is certain: he inspired but did not write IHamlet. The thought of which may have forced him to jump into the deep end of the Avon River. I give you IHamlet in its world premiere and undoubtedly its final performance.
Act 1, Scene 1. Elsinore, a rampart above the castle. A guard at his post. Enter to him, IHamlet. All the world's a stage, I'm not moving.
No, because it's covered in the lights.
Oh, it's so boring. I'm so slow. Who goes there?
Hey, oh, 'tis I seek the tower.
Tower, sire? You seek someone languishing in the tower?
Nay, Wi-Fi, you dope. Wi-Fi. The castle walls are yards of deep and signal ne'er penetrate. I seek the cell tower. Perchance, a tweet to read, a jibe to write, a sight to see. For without this I be alone and lost, unable to connect with friend or foe or navigate the social world below.
'Tis true, sire. The signal fades and comes and goes and magnifies our woes.
Tell me, how goes your watch?
The night is long, the mist is deep, and apparitions most strange keep me from sleep.
Apparitions? Did these appear on Skype? Or did a text appear? Was it afar, or did it come too near?
Nay, email not a one, but fearful vision of Steve of Jobs did show. And he of Cupertino did bestow a warning from the depths below. One phrase he did bespeak. beware the bill of gates, a pop-up did relate.
Most strange 'tis this, a phrase unknown and proof against spam blocker to safeguard the throne. I must to Siri make this known.
Scene 2, a room in the castle. IHamlet sits upon a chair, musing in solitude before his iPad.
To text or not to text? That is the question. Well, it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous social media, or to tweet against the sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To go off the grid, to email no more, and by this step, we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that networks are answered. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To YouTube no more, no selfie take, no Netflix queue to make. Aye, there's a rub, for Al Gore's tools to forsake must give us pause. To read a book and not a Kindle, no social network, I will surely perish single.
An ethereal presence enters the room.
Though unbidden, I must speak. I see your signals weak.
Sweet muse, I know you speak the truth. No truer friend can I peruse.
Go forth from these walls to roam, and seek a genius to find your app's home.
Act 2, Scene 1, a recycler's yard. Enters IHamlet and Horatio, encountering a recycler rummaging in a hole filled with sundry electronics, where he abandons verse for simple prose.
How now, Horatio? See yonder yob about that hole?
But I, Horatio, you Hamlet.
Nay, I Hamlet, and you, Horatio. Prithee, don't play I fool with I.
Whatever. I do spy with my little eye yonder yob, but looks more like a job to me.
What say you, knave, as knave you be? What are you about?
'Tis for me to know, and you to... Oh bother, never mind. Sirrah, I am a recycler from the Genius Bar. And those that shuffle off their mortal CPUs are entered here with plastic bagginses and such.
Let me peruse your flotsam. Many a circuit board bereft of life may yield some use on eBay. What is this, Horatio? Methinks this is Lisa, a processor of exquisite design. Begot by Wozniak of Clan Macintosh at the dawn of the digital age. Alas, poor Lisa. I knew her, Horatio, a processor of exquisite design, of most excellent fancy. My digits have danced upon her keys 1,000 times. And this crestfallen green pixel glows green no more. Look you, this is where my floppy disk did go. And here's where the pong did ping and the ping did pong. Oh, how lamentable is such decrepitude, such cruel, obsolescent decrepitude. Methinks of iPhone, so many generations past.
Alas, alack, she twerks no more.
Sirrah, do you jest with me? By jobs, I will enter your Facebook page with such a vengeance if you disrespect my fallen Lisa.
False news. Sire, I redact my last remark most sincerely.
Very well, my dear Horatio. There's more between the Ethernet and Earth than is in your philosophy. Now off to eBay I shall go. Lisa shall fetch something, I wager.
Scene 2, the courtyard of Elsinore. IALIT, jangling a set of car keys, speaks with his father, Polonius.
Ah, the world sits upon the shoulder of your sail.
I have the king's fiat to go where I must with navy and hands-free Bluetooth to jolly me along the highways and byways.
Keep these few precepts in thy memory. Give thy thoughts no text, nor any unproportioned text its email. Be thou familiar, but by no means heck. Those friends thou hast, keep close on Facebook, and flatter with favorable comments on everyday tasks, well or poorly done. Of each new Facebook friend request, be wary lest ye be victim of a Ponzi scheme. And above all, avoid royalty from Nigeria, who have fallen on hard times, but have a boon to ask and a request to share. Give every man thy email, but none thy password, and to thine own selfie be true. And it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then make false entries on WikiLinks.
Farewell then, father. I shall Skype if Skype Starbucks hotspots I spy upon my way. Scene 3, a nearby Home Depot garden center. I, Gertrude, despise IHamlet.
IHamlet, is it you, fair prince?
Hamlet, I Gertrude.
Whatever. What brings you here to wander aimlessly with posies clutched to your breast in manner most distracted?
Oh, Ophelia, heavy lies the head that wears the crown, and heavier still the cost of headphones, whilst iTunes do serenade.
Whatever. So gone are the days when you and I thought of country ways and cuddles in the bush? Wherefore art thy girded loins and gilded locks to make a maid a woman?
Fear not, you Botox wench. Cialis keeps me strong and headed in the right direction. But alas and alack and hey, nani, my yin has yang, and country matters offer no allure, as weightier things than your desire keep me vertical and not horizontal. I have much on my mind, and my hard drive and router is facing meltdown.
Whatever. I bid you adieu, my floppy prince, and mind you, aisle 7, wherein lies a special on hollyhocks.
Act 3, Scene 1. IHamlet's bedchamber. IHamlet sleeps, he's asleep, and is visited by 2 specters.
I tell you, I did reboot. I do have Apple Care. I love Mumbai. I can't go back to the Apple Store. No, don't put me on hold again. I cannot stand the music. Who is there? Is it a specter named Phil? Or is it a bit of undigested gorgonzola?
Pace, it is I, your late king, Steve, Prince of Jobs, and I have countless cool designs and innovations to smooth you through the wireless universe and enable you to dream in 3D with 4K streaming images, although it will cost you.
Forget that. Who needs such baubles? What you need is cheap, something for the masses. It is I, your true friend, Bill, Earl of Gates. I have Windows 7 at knockdown prices, and no extra charge be there for the virus.
What? Am I seeing androids before my sleep-deprived eyes?
Android, do not blaspheme. I heard the same thing from Samsung.
Oh, just go back to Cupertino, you addle-brained hippie.
We'll be right out.
Take your time.
Scene 2, the king's bedchamber. I, Claudius, and I, Gertrude, lay abed.
Take the blanket, dear.
I claw, claw, claw.
Go spit it out, will you?
Sorry, but I always get excited when the game is afoot. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Say no more, know what I mean?
Keep your fetishes to yourself, Buster. I don't have time for any falderall. I've been thinking of a refine, a rehab for the old abode, and floating a castle improvement loan. We need to rid ourselves of these heavy curtains and get with the Renaissance, baby. This place needs a serious remodel, or I will never make it as a diva on the Housewives of Elsinore. Besides, I think numero uno's son is around the twist. What with this talk of rewiring for Wi-Fi and unlimited access for the serfs?
I claw, claw, claw.
Whatever. Where did I put those Jimmy Choo stilettos?
We ought to hire stagehands for
The budget is tight.
the memento of Hamlet. Scene 3, dawn in the forest primeval. IHamlet walks along holding Lisa, his old PC in his hand, and discovers verse Hanan.
What does it all mean, Lisa? As we strut and prance upon the stage, what does it signify for this or future age? Can't Siri tell me what is to be or what will be my destiny? With words and images all in the air, can we have thoughts to soothe despair? No friends I have, I do not know, I never meet them face to face. Methinks it's a small disgrace. To see the trees and smell the flowers may better serve our waking hours. For time it flies apace, and soon this world we must forsake. Time and tide, it does not wait, so take love's measure and kiss your Kate. For me, methinks Denmark's not rotten, but only souls can choose to darken. So now I leave the stage, and you, Ophelia and I, have better things to do. LOL.